Hello, Active Sage here on the Sage channel, and as promised, I'm back with my completely random large drones, the CRLDs, and I'm going to go ahead and crash them together. Now, let's start out by just taking this small, let's do a copy and paste it right here. And I'm actually going to go ahead and remote control it, and we're going to do a few crashes at first with actually just controlling these buggers, and then we'll go ahead and switch over to, oh dear, there's that audio glitch that's in the game. There we go, nice and quiet now. And then we'll go over and switch over to just copy and pasting and throwing them in. I think it'll be the second one here, maybe control me, possibly. Yep, it is. Okay, and I've got it facing the wrong way. So let's go ahead and fly this farther away, and then we'll ram into the large one, I think. Yeah, that should look pretty good. So let me go ahead and get this farther away and get it up to speed. Alrighty, I flew it out to about 500 meters and started accelerating. We're going to have an impact, it looks like around 30 or so. I'm going to go ahead and do an F9 to switch over to a spectator camera, and here comes a nice little impact. Ooh, that wasn't bad at all, crashed right in there. Let's actually go ahead, and I would try to reverse it, but of course it's already sheared through. This is a pretty slow moving ship, so actually I'm going to go ahead and go straight into just God mode here basically, and begin throwing my wrath at these things here, at least with the small ones. I'm going to spawn in another big one in a minute and actually try flying that one in there properly. But for now, I think I'm just going to do a toss like that. That was much nicer. That was a nice impact. And I love the little sheared off bits that come floating away from it all. Very nice. I love that. You can see here, if we were actually to go ahead and delete this ship and move it out here, we can actually inspect the damage to it. You can see that the whole front area here was pretty badly sheared up. But actually, we still would have full mobility in this ship. Exceedingly slow, slower than it was before, but we still have our front camera and our little reverse engine there. That's actually quite a surprise. Let's go ahead and throw the same one at it again. This time we're going to go ahead and try speeding up a whole lot. So you can see how fast we're going to be moving. We toss it like that. And that little tiny engine is struggling to try to break it and impact. Ooh, did you notice that? There was actually a little bit that went flying in here and caused some damage. Yeah, look at these. They're dented up inside here. That's pretty interesting. Okay, let's go ahead and spawn in another one with pretty much full health. And this time we're just going to throw it down like that at the top of it. So let's fly out. And let's move this out using control and mouse wheel to scroll. By the way, I'm using my mouse wheel to change how quickly I move in spectator mode, if you don't already know. And then I'm just going to throw it like this. Ooh, that was a pretty impact. Look at all those little bits coming out. And then you have the real bits, not just those particle effects. Look at that one flying out. Ooh, and then slowly you see bits of it start flying up. You can see the whole ship was just shattered into tiny little pieces from that impact. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. And you see we have a full breach here. One of these large pieces is now just floating free. It's a big hazard if we were trying to move the big ship. Let's hit a 1 or 2 and then we'll actually try to move the big ship out. So let's go ahead and toss this one, I think like this. If we're lucky it'll hit. Let's toss a few of them actually. There we go. So there's one good hit from the bottom. That first one missed. There's another good hit. You can see there as it came up, it did some damage into here. You can see the engine sticking up. You can actually see some sparks up in here. It's kind of a confusing mess, really, but it's pretty interesting. And then we have all these bits slowly flowing out. Let's toss 2 more, I think. So I'll move this over, and then we're going to speed up. Oh, nope, too fast. There we go. And here it comes. Wow. Because it has more thrusters on the left side, it actually managed to counter its left momentum first, and then it slowly managed to counter its forward momentum all the way out to here. So it actually ended up dodging it for the most part. One little impact. That was pretty cool. Okay, one more. There we go. Oh, no stopping at that time. You can see as it hit, it sort of just broke into different pieces and slowly just melted into it. Very, very cool as it snapped in different spots. Very cool. You can see it drifting. So now let's go ahead and do a K. Let's take control of the large ship here. So now I have control over that. I have to press F9 to be able to control it while in spectator mode. And you see it slowly move there. And let's go ahead, F8, move our camera around so we can get a good view of this. And I think I'm just going to try to go that way. I'm pretty sure that's forward, so let's go ahead and, no, that's backwards. So we'll start going backwards. And you can see instantly there's tons of pieces. Ooh, we've hit something. We're hitting a lot of things down there. Ooh, a lot of impact sounds. A lot of impact sounds, a lot of impact sounds. And you actually see here we ended up ramming into another one here. Oh, God. Ooh, boy. There is some chaos happening here. Look at that. Okay, let's go ahead, because we should still have control. And now let's go ahead and just turn the inertial dampeners on, so it should try to stop itself now. There we go. And you can see as it stops, you can see the cloud of stuff that is sort of pushed as it was flying away. So now you can see this huge cloud of stuff being thrown in its general direction. I don't think much of it will actually hit it, because as it was going through it would have pushed it forward and sort of away, I think. Maybe this one will. But it is a pretty interesting sight to see all this stuff floating away into the distance and around it. Let's actually go ahead and examine the damage to the ship itself. You can see where we had the crash ship here. It's torn up pretty much all of it. We've got a bunch of ribs missing here, just tons and tons of torn open stuff. The actual center control area here, you can see we've lost one engine, so we can look into it, but for the most part it actually looks pretty well defended, actually. Let's see, at the back side here, actually this is technically the front of the ship, but can't really tell if the front or going back. You can see we got one little hole that went all the way through the engines there. We've got... I'm amazed that this one thing here is actually still connected, actually. We've got a lot of damage, really. But the overall shape is... well, it's changed a bit now. It's pretty badly beat up. Let's check the bottom of it really quickly. Pretty good. Let's go ahead and now fly it back, I think, through the cloud that it's made of stuff. A lot of stuff, obviously, is now drifted far away. But let's go ahead and turn on that spectator mode F9 again and start flying it back towards there. I think I could do an F7 and actually lock the camera to it. So once we get over there, I'll be able to do a F8 to just look around. And here we go. Little impact on this, I suspect. Ooh, we hit something down below us. Ooh, there's a good impact through that. Let's take it down. Let's try to hit both of these ships over here. This thing is actually handling pretty well for something so strange and actually something that has actually taken a lot of damage. You can see that we took a huge amount of damage on the front. I think we actually probably lost a few gyroscopes. Because suddenly the ship is not turning as well as it did, but we did manage to hit that other one there. Ooh, and I think we might just miss this asteroid, actually. Wow, that was a pretty good hit. So let's go ahead and actually try to stop now. We should see a huge amount of stuff float out of the front here. Yeah, look at all the stuff that just sort of spit out. There's a huge chunk of that other ship we hit. Just drifting free now. Look at that debris field. That is a pretty impressive looking debris field. Wow. Let's go ahead back and look at the ship and see what damage has been done to it. Yeah, a lot of these ribs completely shattered and destroyed. Let's go ahead and look at the front section here. It actually looks like the camera's still intact. All the gyroscopes in here are intact. Let's actually fly along here. Once again, all their engines or reactors and thrusters look to be fine. Some damage at the front. Overall, the main inner workings of the ship are fine, but the outer shells is just getting, well, wrecked slowly. Pretty interesting. I didn't expect it to be as efficient at that, but it is hitting smaller, frailer ships as well. It's not necessarily hitting other larger ships. Let's go ahead now and bring in another one of these buggers. So there we go. And let's go ahead and paste this right in this one's path. So right there should be pretty good. And now we're just going to go ahead and throw this one into it, or actually fly it into it. So we're going to do the F9 mode, still in control. I'm going to reverse it a tiny bit. And we'll actually go up a bit as well. You can see it actually is a pretty responsive ship for such a big, strange thing. And that should be good. Let's go ahead and actually use its camera on the front to line it up pretty well. So right there, that should be pretty good, I think. And let's go ahead and full throttle and run straight in it. Turn off our inertial dampeners. That way we should have a pretty good crash. And let's actually go ahead now and switch back to that spectator camera we were on a second ago. And impact. Ooh. Let's go ahead and do the F9 and continue firing those thrusters of that big ship. Actually, let's go ahead and look at its cameras, see what that looks like as we're pushing our way through this other one. Very slowly pushing our way through it, actually. We're actually seem to be slowing up a lot here. Even though we got thrusters on full, you can see our speed is actually decreasing. Or at least fluctuating between about 4 and 2. Stuck right in the middle, actually. Let's go ahead back to our spectator camera mode. And you can see now we've actually come quite a ways into the other ship. If we were to look at the other side, I don't see anything poking through, but it did actually manage to do some damage here. Oh, you can see some bits floating through here. That's funny to see that little tiny bit of metal floating through. Let's go ahead and reverse this ship, I think. What we'll actually do to reverse this is we'll just do a Control X to remove it. We'll look at the damage here, which in the dark it's a little hard to see, but it did rip out a lot of the ribs here. Yep. And then let's go ahead and actually just toss the ship at it again, but let's do it this time from the other side. So there we go. And let's go ahead and flip it around again like this. Line it up. Its inertial dampers are hopefully still off. And that should be a pretty good line up. We'll go ahead and toss it. And I think I might have missed. Easy fix to that is to delete you. You can see the wreckage that was inside of it. And paste it down here so it won't miss. Ooh, there we go. There's some more damage for you. So yeah, this ship is actually surprisingly sturdy for such a weird thing. I would have sort of expect like all the little panels to instantly snap off on all of these, but it seems to be holding its own pretty well. Yeah, actually it hit the top, you can see here, and it sort of bent its way through all the metal, took out one engine, but then just sort of drifted down and it's free again. And of course now this one is just free floating away. Let's go ahead and delete this one here again. And there you can see all the wreckage that actually was with it and not actually part of it. Let's go ahead and toss it into this asteroid. I think that sounds like fun, doesn't it? So line it up like that. Now we just gotta make sure we find a spot where it's not gonna hit something before I can paste it. And there we go, managed to paste it in. Right into the asteroid. Now, unfortunately, Space Engineers doesn't have where, you know, the whole ship would bend around an asteroid like you'd hope. But it is pretty damn cool that you have these deforming and breaking blocks that, well, you just don't see in a lot of stuff, do you? It did stop pretty quick, though. Let's go ahead and delete this again and move it up here just to see what the damage actually looks like. And you can see right away, even just from this view, before we paste it, you can see a lot of the stuff on the bottom has been torn free and destroyed. It's just completely exposed on the bottom now. Overall, though, the ship's main centerpiece is still functional. It's lost a few engines here and there, but I don't know, it could still get around pretty well. Surprisingly, actually. Very surprisingly. Let's go ahead and spawn in another one of these big ships. And this one I'm going to line up right with this, and I'm just going to throw it straight into it, I think. So, right there, that should be pretty good. And we're going to try to line it up so we get a nice, good toss right into it. So, there. Now that was a pretty instantaneous impact. Now it was pretty cool there to see though that the smoke, as it went through all those metal ribs and stuff, it actually sort of looked like there was a big reactor in there or something going on. Oh, I think we're actually going to hit some other stuff here. Well, yep, there's another hit. Slowly taking out more stuff. Remember that bottom ship there doesn't have its inertial dampeners on still, so it's still just being flung about. Let's go ahead and actually paste another ship down here if we can, in an angle that might, come on, right? You hear me clicking like crazy, try to find an open spot. Oh, unfortunately I seem to have thrown it. Well, we can't just have a toss without a reason. We'll go ahead and put another ship there so we can see those two very strangely impact from a distance. It almost looks like they're merging together from this distance because the way the lighting works, it doesn't really have proper shadows and stuff, but they have just gently collided with one another. Let's go ahead now, and I think we'll post one more in. Align this like that. That looks pretty good. And we're just going to try to get a lot of speed up and paste. And hopefully I didn't miss that. Oh no, it's got its inertial dampeners on, so it stopped before it got even near it. Let's go ahead and, ooh, you can see some of the wreckage from the above ships has just slowly drifted down and impacted the ones below. Let's just go ahead and paste another one of these big ones in right here. And now we're actually going to go ahead and I think it'll probably be, oops. All of our destruction is gone now, but I'm going to do one last thing before I end this video, which is hop in here and fly all the way in. Actually, I don't, yeah, I'll do that anyway. I'll fly all the way in. We'll hop into this cockpit. We're going to go ahead and, first off, disable our inertial dampeners. Second off, hop back out. We're going to make a copy of this ship, and we're going to paste it way over there so it's safe and sound from the mayhem we're about to cause. And I'm just going to go ahead, while actually controlling this ship, and give it a crash into, let's say, 3 or 4 of these other ones over here. And I'm going to try to do that at a very high speed. So let's try to line a few of these up here, like so. So hopefully we'll see something a little bit interesting. And actually, if you see them snap together there in green, that's actually where it's trying to paste them together, connected. Anyway, now that we got them lined up, let's go ahead, hop in this ship. I'm going to back it, or fly it out pretty far, and then fly it back in. Alrighty, so there we are. Pretty good distance now. I'm going to line it up using the camera. There we go. That should be pretty good. And let's go ahead and actually, I think, yeah, move the camera forward on that piston. That way we can get a bit of a better view. And now I'm going to go ahead and press T to exit the camera, but I'm still in the actual ship in control. We're now going to be going around probably 70 meters per second, I'd say, when we impact. We're getting really close now. Let's go ahead and actually take this impact from here so we can move with the ship as we crash into that big chunk of other ones. And remember, those other ships, I've disabled their inertial dampeners on, because I disabled inertial dampeners on this one before I pasted them. So they should all have a lot of drift to them when I hit them and not slow this one up too much. And, oh, there's a good impact. There's an impact, and it will probably push that one down into the other ones. Our frame rate is beginning to die here. As you can see, those big clouds of smoke and flame starting to go between the ribs of this ship on the front there. Let's actually go to the front camera, see what we see. We're sort of just pushing this one out of the way, it seems, and being pushed around. Let's turn on our inertial dampeners to stop us from drifting so much. Whoa, what's going on? Oh, of course, those other ships are moving because, as I said, they don't have their inertial dampeners on. So they're actually moving in the way I just bumped them. And I think I'm pretty much standing still. So you can see all the force of us hitting them really just pushed them that way. So that's pretty cool. Unfortunately, they didn't all collide and explode into one another as I had hoped would sort of happen. They, of course, did, but I mean, they didn't cause the mayhem I was looking for. Let's go ahead and give them one more collision, shall we? And then I'm going to try one last thing involving warheads. Let's go ahead and line up. We are indeed set for a nice little collision course. You can see the front of our ship actually fared very well in that collision attempt. And impact right there. Now let's actually keep pushing, and we should be able to push it right into the other grouping down there of ships. And hopefully this time we'll see a bit more of a kaboom than we did last time. Yep, there's some more explosions. You'd think there were warheads in here already, hearing all those explosions, just sort of seeing stuff. I'm not sure exactly what's going on. It looks like that old glitch where you phase through things might have come back to haunt us again. Very hard to tell, isn't it? Let's go ahead and actually pan our camera down here so it's a bit brighter. Yeah, it looks like we are indeed we're definitely phasing through other ships and stuff here. If we actually let up, you can see it's just a mess of stuff now. Let's go in the spectator, that way we can follow the mess a little bit better. There we go. And you can see it's just a cacophony of random stuff, lagging. Yeah, and it's like three ships now merged together into one very confusing mess that if you could actually merge them permanently like this in a way that they wouldn't explode, this would actually be kind of an interesting wreckage to live inside. Like, I could see like a little colony trying to set up in here, maybe harvesting bits of metal over the years or something, like a pirate colony or something strange. Is interesting. Very, very interesting. Anyway, guys, one last thing I want to do is pretty simple and straightforward, not really involving this already damaged one, but I'm going to go ahead and set up our little tiny explosion for us. So let's go ahead, paste this ship in right here, and let's paste another one in. Oh, actually, let's not paste anything in until we get the explosive set up. Let's go ahead and post in some warheads on this wonderful thing, because what is a video without an assortment of warheads to destroy everything on Earth? Eh? Well, not necessarily everything on Earth, but everything in this ship. So, anyway, we got a big, huge clump of warheads going in here. Hopefully they don't instantly explode from the flames on this other stuff. There we go. They didn't. Now let's go ahead and copy this and paste in another ship. Right. Let's see if we can get this to lock in place again. There we go. Should be lined up, yep, like that. And let's paste it right lined up with it. And let's just toss it straight down into it. So, like this, inertial dampener should still be off. Pasting, bit of lag. And here it goes. Any second now we will have a wonderful impact of pure destruction and nonsense. Actually looks kind of cool with, ooh, all the warheads right there. Yeah, that was something else. It actually looks, oh, nope, there it goes. Yeah. Alrighty, so it looks like, and ignore the big sheets of warheads floating about, those are just a graphical glitch, they're not really there anymore. It's sort of like in the old days of Minecraft when TNT went off, the TNT would sometimes float there for a bit and disappear. You can see it sort of disappearing in the chunks that it actually went off now. But yeah, it left these sort of like rib cage-like things just drifting through space, with the majority of the ship actually turned to scrap now. Quite the sight to see, if I do say so myself. Yeah. Ooh, I wish spectator mode had a camera on it. But yeah, you can see the whole front of the ship's been torn open. You see a few gyroscopes in there. Its forward and back thrusters are completely missing. In fact, the whole back section of this ship is now missing. Actually, it looks like this wreckage might come towards the big clump we had here if it's moving fast enough. That was quite the explosion, eh? Wow. That was pretty beautiful, too. I love the way they almost looked like, the explosives almost looked like bits of solar panel before they actually hit, and then started, of course, just exploding. Wow, and you see there's a whole section just missing from the ship. Well, that was pretty good, pretty entertaining. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. I will probably continue to do this. I want to get back into the old routine of building ships and blowing them up, and also I want to get some mods done, because it's been ages since I've actually retweaked the mods and gotten that cockpit's just, it's a mess. I'm sorry. But yeah, that was pretty cool. If I do this again too, I will probably use a standard Skybox, just because it's easier to see what's happening. This one was a bit too dark, I think, for this, so not much contrast between the ships and the background, especially because I painted the ships a darker color. That was a bit silly. But yeah, pretty cool. I'm pretty happy with it. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I shall see you, looks like a big claw, and I shall see you guys next time.